Hello, today we are going to discuss the idea put forward in an episode of the Batman animated series titled Trial. What if the Joker were to actually become a judge? If the Joker were to ascend to the position of a judge, it would be a highly contentious and disconcerting development. As a notorious criminal and sociopath, he is infamous for sowing chaos and devastation throughout Gotham City. He possesses a Machiavellian inclination for manipulation, fueled by a penchant for causing destruction, and his twisted sense of humor often leads him to commit heinous acts of violence. As a judge, the Joker would undoubtedly bring his own unique brand of madness to the courtroom. He would likely make decisions based on his own twisted sense of justice, rather than adhering to the letter of the law. He would likely take pleasure in tormenting defendants, and would undoubtedly impose excessively severe sentences. The public would be outraged by the Joker's appointment as a judge, leading to widespread protests and calls for his removal from the bench. The legal system would likely be thrown into chaos, as lawyers and defendants would struggle to navigate the twisted and unpredictable nature of the Joker's decisions. Furthermore, it would also have a detrimental effect on the justice system as a whole. The Joker would set a dangerous precedent, demonstrating that anyone, regardless of how depraved and violent, can rise to a position of power within the legal system. This would undermine the public's trust in the justice system, and would likely result in a breakdown of the rule of law. His sentencing would be equally disturbing. The Joker has a history of violence and murder, and would likely use his position as a judge to sentence defendants to harsh and inhumane punishment, possibly even death. He would likely take pleasure in watching defendants suffer, and would have little regard for their rehabilitation or the possibility of their eventual release. With Batman as the accused, there would be little hope. As shown in the aforementioned episode, if Batman were on trial, accused of creating his own villains by becoming Batman himself, it would be a highly unusual and controversial trial. The fact that Batman's own villains would be serving as the jury would add an extra layer of complexity and intrigue to the proceedings. And with the Joker serving as the judge, it would add a whole new level of unpredictability and danger. Like in the episode, the prosecution would likely argue that Batman's actions as a vigilante have led to the creation of many of Gotham's most dangerous criminals. They would argue that by constantly battling Batman, these villains have become more powerful, more dangerous, and more entrenched in their criminal ways. They would argue that Batman's actions have led to the escalation of violence in Gotham City, and that he is ultimately responsible for the suffering caused by these villains. The defense, on the other hand, would argue that Batman is a necessary force for good in Gotham City. They would argue that the city is plagued by crime and that the police are unable to keep up with the scale of the problem. They would argue that Batman is the only one who can truly protect the citizens of Gotham from the threats posed by these villains. They would also argue that Batman is not responsible for the actions of these villains, as they have chosen to become criminals of their own accord. The trial would likely be a highly publicized event, with the media closely following every development. The presence of Batman's own villains as the jury would add an increased layer of drama to the proceedings, as they would have a personal stake in the outcome of the trial. The Joker as the judge would increase the unpredictability, as he would likely have his own agenda and would not be bound by the usual rules and procedures of a trial. In conclusion, if the Joker were to become a judge, it would be a disaster for Gotham City and the justice system. The Joker's twisted sense of humor and desire to watch the world burn would make him a highly unpredictable and dangerous judge. And his appointment would likely lead to widespread public outrage and a breakdown in the rule of law. It is crucial that the legal system remains fair, impartial, and grounded on the principle of justice for all, and the Joker's appointment would be a serious violation of these values. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.